Hey there, welcome back to Just a Dude podcast. I'm your host, Nathan. We've got a jam-packed episode for you today, diving into some of the biggest, craziest, and most talked about stories from the past week. But before we get started, if you could do us a favor and hit that subscribe button and share our videos, we'd greatly appreciate it. It's listeners like you that help us grow and make the show possible. Today we're going to talk about Trump's new policies that are turning heads, Bitcoin's wild ride, and some jaw-dropping news on presidential pardons from both Trump and Biden. We'll also get into the nitty-gritty of how a winter storm shook up the South, what's happening with healthcare leadership, and so much more. So buckle up, grab your favorite beverage, and let's get into the thick of it all. Here we go. First up, we're tackling the polarizing topic of immigration policies under the new Trump administration. Love him or hate him, Trump's approach to immigration has sparked debates, protests, and even international backlash. Let's unpack this complex issue. Executive orders and birthright citizenship are the first one. One of Trump's most controversial moves was challenging birthright citizenship through an executive order. This ignited immediate legal battles, with critics arguing it directly contradicts the 14th Amendment. Legal scholars are split, but many agree the courts will play a decisive role in determining the constitutionality of this policy. Meanwhile, immigrant communities live in fear, unsure of their future in the U.S. Globally, organizations like the UN have condemned the administration's restrictive asylum policies, emphasizing that seeking asylum is a universal human right. Domestically, immigration lawyers report being overwhelmed as families face deportation threats. This isn't just policy, it's a human story, with families torn apart and communities rallying to protect the vulnerable. But let's be honest here, these folks did break the law and should not be off the hook 100%. From an economic perspective, these policies could have long-term consequences. Immigration has historically fueled America's growth and innovation. Restricting it may deter international talent, impacting industries like tech and healthcare. On the social side, debates over these policies have deepened divisions in the U.S., making immigration a defining issue of our time. Whether you view these policies as necessary for national security or as a departure from American values, one thing is clear: the immigration debate is far from over. Let us know your thoughts on this heated topic. Hit us up on social media or send us an email. All right, crypto enthusiasts, this one's for you. Bitcoin has been making big waves, hitting new highs and fueling debates about the future of money. Is it a bubble, or are we witnessing the dawn of a financial revolution? Let's dig into this. Bitcoin's recent surge isn't about market dynamics. It's tied to broader cultural and political shifts. President Trump's endorsement of cryptocurrencies, including the launch of Cash Trump and Cash Melania coins, has energized the crypto community. This move signals a potential embrace of decentralized finance by mainstream politics. However, with great power comes great scrutiny. Regulators are stepping in, debating how to oversee the crypto market without stifling innovation. New rules could address tax implications, fraud prevention, and market stability. This tug-of-war between innovation and regulation will shape the future of crypto. For the average person, the crypto boom is both exciting and intimidating. While some see Bitcoin as a ticket to financial freedom, others warn of the risks, citing past booms and busts. The key question: is this the future of finance or just another speculative bubble? As Bitcoin soars, it's clear that the world of money is evolving. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, one thing's for sure: this is a story worth following. Hit us up with your crypto questions and stories. We'd love to learn more and provide more to our audience. Let's shift gears to another hallmark of Trump's presidency: his prolific use of executive orders. From international agreements to domestic policies, Trump's pen has reshaped America's political landscape almost overnight. But has it been effective governance or just chaos? Let's break it down. Trump's executive orders often aim to dismantle Obama-era policies. Examples include pulling out of the Paris Climate Accord and reversing healthcare initiatives. Supporters see this as keeping campaign promises, while critics argue it creates instability and undermines long-term planning. Environmental groups have been vocal about the rollback of climate protections. They argue these changes could have devastating effects on global efforts to combat climate change. On the social front, changes in healthcare and education policies have sparked debates about federal versus state control. For many, these executive orders are more than political theater. They affect daily life. From job opportunities to healthcare access, Trump's decisions have ripple effects across the communities. This approach highlights the power and limits of executive action. Whether you view Trump's executive orders as necessary corrections or overreach, they've undeniably reshaped America's policy landscape. What do you think? Are these changes for the better, or are they for the worse? It's time to talk money. The economy is on the rise, but what does that mean for the average American? From stock market highs to concerns about inflation, let's explore the current economic landscape. The stock market's recent surge can be tied to Trump's economic policies, including deregulation and tax cuts. These measures have boosted corporate profits and investor confidence, but critics argue they disproportionately benefit the wealthy. While growth is good news, some economists warn about inflation. If prices rise without corresponding wage increases, middle-class families could feel the squeeze. This tension highlights the complexity of balancing growth with economic opportunity. For small businesses, the economic environment presents both opportunities and challenges. While consumer spending is up, rising costs and supply chain issues remain big hurdles. How these factors play out will shape the business landscape in 2025. The economy is a mixed bag of optimism and caution. Whether you're an investor, a business owner, or just trying to make ends meet, these trends matter. Share your thoughts how the economy is impacting you. Let's take a look at a topic that cuts to the heart of American identity: birthright citizenship. Trump's executive order challenging this constitutional right has sparked a heated legal and cultural debate. Here's what you need to know. The 14th Amendment has long been interpreted to guarantee citizenship to anyone born on U.S. soil. Trump's challenge to this principle has divided legal scholars, with some arguing the language is clear and others suggesting historical context allows for flexibility. This issue has ignited protests and rallies across the country. Supporters of Trump's stance argue it's about protecting national sovereignty, while opponents see it as a fundamental attack on American values. Trump's biggest theme for this item is that it removes an incentive for people to come and have children in the U.S. The outcome of these legal battles could redefine how the U.S. approaches immigration and citizenship. The stakes are high, with implications for millions of people and America's global reputation. This isn't just a legal fight, it's a question of what it means to be an American. Where do you stand on this contentious issue? Let's hear your take and your thoughts. Shifting gears to a more specific group affected by Trump's immigration policies, Indian students in the U.S. These policies have sent ripples through the academic institutions and disrupted the lives of thousands of international students. Let's explore the broader implications. Indian students have long viewed the U.S. as a land of opportunity, just like many other, drawn by its prestigious universities and career prospects. However, stricter visa policies and uncertainty about work permits have created significant hurdles, leaving many unsure about their futures. U.S. universities have benefited from the diverse perspectives and tuition fees international students bring. Now they face declining enrollment from abroad, prompting concerns about their financial stability and global reputation. Some institutions are pushing back, advocating for more inclusive immigration policies. The human side of the issue is heart-wrenching. Students who have built lives, friendships, and careers in the U.S. now face the possibility of returning home. This brain drain could harm industries like tech and healthcare that rely heavily on international talent. The struggles of Indian students highlight the broader challenges of restricted immigration policies. How the U.S. addresses these issues will shape the global standing in academia and innovation. For crypto enthusiasts, we've got another story for you. Here's a game-changing development. The SEC has repealed SAB 121, paving the way for banks to hold crypto assets. Let's break down what this means for the crypto world. By allowing banks to securely hold crypto assets, the decision could encourage institutional investors to enter the market. This could lead to a greater stability and legitimacy for cryptocurrencies. However, with institutional involvement comes increased scrutiny. Banks will need to comply with anti-money laundering, AML, and Know Your Customer, KYC regulations, which could affect the decentralized ethos of crypto. On the plus side, everyday investors might feel more secure knowing that crypto assets are held by trusted institutions. This could spur wider adoption and innovation in the space. The repeal of SAB 121 is a turning point for crypto. It's an exciting time, but also a moment to watch how regulation evolves. Let us know your thoughts on this milestone in cryptocurrency. So let's talk about the big shakeup at United Health Group. Tim Knoll has just stepped in as a new CEO of United Healthcare after, well, the really sad and unexpected passing of Brian Thompson. You know, Noel's been with the company for a while, heading up Medicare and retirement part of the business. So he's got hands deep in the healthcare cookie jar, especially with how complex and crucial that sector is. Now he's got to navigate this beast in a time when everyone's got their eyes on healthcare, thanks to all the policy changes coming out of the Trump administration. The thing is, with all eyes on him, Noel's not just taking over the helm. He's also stepping into a role where public trust in health insurers is kind of shaky. People often see these big companies as more interested in their bottom line than in making sure folks get the care they need. So, one of Noel's biggest challenges will be to show that United Healthcare can do both, make money, and do right by patients. Maybe he'll push for some new ways of doing things, making healthcare more straightforward for everyone. Then there's the whole policy whirlwind. With Trump's administration coming in, we could see a lot of changes in healthcare laws affecting everything from Medicare to how the Affordable Care Act works. Noel's got to be ready to adapt, maybe even lobby a bit to make sure United Healthcare isn't left in the dust. His experience with Medicare could really come in handy here, helping him figure out how to play the new game. And let's not forget, after what happened, security is probably on everyone's mind, including how safe the top dogs at United Healthcare are. Noel's also going to have to think about the company's culture, how they talk to the public, handle those tricky insurance claims, and work with doctors to make sure patients are getting what they need. There's a lot on his plate, but if he can steer United Healthcare through these choppy waters, man, he could really make a mark on how healthcare insurance operates in this country. And let's face it, we need to put people's health over profits. Man, have you seen what's going on down south? It's like winter decided to crash the party down there big time. We're talking snow, ice, freezing temperatures in places like Texas, where people usually don't even own a good winter coat. The whole setup isn't built for this kind of cold. So you've got cars all over the place, roads turning into skating rinks, and emergency services running around like mad. And then there's the power situation. The grid's not ready for this cold snap, so we're seeing blackout to keep everything from overloading. Imagine trying to keep warm when your power's out. It's not just an annoyance, it's serious, especially for folks or anyone with health problems. They're telling us to conserve energy, but when you're shivering, that's easier said than done. You've got to give it to the community, though. People are really stepping up, checking on each other, opening up places for folks to warm up. It's cool to see, but it also shows how not ready some places are for this kind of weather. Cities are trying to get salt down, clear the ice, but it's like they're learning on the fly. Weirdly enough, it has got people talking about climate change again. You wouldn't think cold would be linked to the global warming, but scientists are saying it's all part of the same messed up weather pattern where we get these wild swings. But again, these wild swings have happened for centuries now. But it does make you think about how we need to gear up for more of this in the future, doesn't it? And let's not forget the wallet hit. Businesses are taking a beating. No one's going out to eat, deliveries are lagging, and if you work outside, you're out of luck. Plus, there's the cost to fix all this mess, from roads to power lines, not to mention the spike in heating bills. This storm isn't just a one-off. It's a wake-up call about how weather can mess with our lives and why we need to be better prepared for when nature throws us these curveballs. All right, let's dive into this wild ride of presidential pardons. Starting with Trump, he just went and pardoned nearly 1,500 people involved in the January 6th Capitol riot. Yeah, you heard that right, 1,500. This move has got everyone talking, and it's split right down the middle like you wouldn't believe. On one side, you've got folks who see this as Trump finally keeping his promise to those he believes were unjustly targeted, while others are there saying it's a slap in the face to democracy and the rule of law. Among those pardoned, big names like Enrique Tarrio from the Proud Boys, who was looking at a 22-year sentence for seditious conspiracy, now has a clean slate. The legal community is buzzing over Trump's decision. Some lawyers are saying this could set a dangerous precedent, questioning where the line is drawn between executive clemency and the integrity of legal proceedings. There's talk about how this might affect future cases, especially with such a broad application of presidential pardons. It's like, if you can clear out so many in one go, what does that mean for accountability? On the flip side, supporters see this as a correction to what they call overzealous prosecutions, arguing that many involved were just caught up in the moment, not truly malicious actors. This narrative is playing well with Trump's base, who feel vindicated by this move. Additionally, these folks have been held in jail, some without even a first initial appearance, for years now, after reviewing several hours of the Capitol footage that was released later last year. It seems at most that this wasn't an insurrection, but most likely a trespassing situation. So when we look at this, the time served probably does match that of a regular trespassing case. But that's my opinion. We'll see what you guys think. But now let's switch gears to Biden. Before he left office, he made some big moves on the pardon front too. Biden issued preemptive pardons after he said in an interview earlier in his career that he would not do it and he was opposed to it. But he issued preemptive pardons to folks like General Mark Milley, Dr. Anthony Fauci, and members of the January 6th committee. This was seen as a protective measure against potential political vendettas by the incoming Trump administration. These pardons weren't just about big names. Biden also pardoned his family members, citing fears of Trump targeting them. Biden's approach was quite different, focusing on preventing what he called politically motivated prosecutions. He might know a little something about that. Critics of Biden's pardons argue it was an abuse of power, a way to shield allies and family from scrutiny. Supporters, however, see it as a necessary shield against what they view as an administration ready to weaponize justice system, even though one of Trump's executive orders was to not weaponize the justice system. This act of clemency by Biden was part of a broader trend where he also commuted sentences for nonviolent offenders, aiming to rectify systematic issues in sentencing. He also commuted the sentences of those on death row at the federal level for most inmates. So here we are with these two very different approaches to presidential pardons. Trump's sweeping pardons for January 6 participants have reignited debates on justice, forgiveness, and what healing looks like for a nation still divided over that day. Meanwhile, Biden's strategic preemptive pardons are seen by some as safeguarding democracy and by many others as questionable use of executive power. It's a complex situation stirring up a lot of emotions, debates, and discussions about the very nature of justice and political accountability. What a whirlwind week it's been, huh? We've covered everything from Trump's massive immigration overhaul to Bitcoin hitting the stratosphere, not to mention the drama with presidential pardons from both sides of the aisle. Trump's back in the White House, shaking things up with policy changes, while Biden left some parting gifts with his own set of pardons. We've seen economic highs, legal battles over citizenship, and the crypto world getting a nod from the big banks. And let's not forget the weather. That unexpected winter storm in the South really put resilience and community spirit to the test. Meanwhile, the shifting leadership at United Health Group shows us how critical healthcare policy is to our daily lives. All these stories paint a picture of a country in transition, where every policy move, legal decision, or natural event has layers of impact on our society, from students worrying about their future in the U.S. to investors betting on the next big crypto wave, from families affected by the Capitol riot to those bracing against the cold. We're all navigating this complex, ever-changing landscape together. So as we wrap up this episode of Just a Dude podcast, I want to leave you with this thought. Whether it's through policy, personal decisions, or how we respond to the unexpected, every action has a ripple effect. There are always consequences, good or bad, to our decision. Here's to staying informed, staying engaged, and most importantly, staying human in these interesting times. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm Nathan, the host of Just a Dude podcast, and I'll catch you next week for another dive into the stories shaping our world. Stay cool, stay curious, and keep it real.